I just got through security. I didn't have a real ID, so they took me out the line to a short line, gave me this, and put me straight through security. To me, seems like a perfect reason to not update your ID. That was easy. In the airport, and I'm going through TSA, and I get randomly selected for a check. So, you know, I stand to the side. I think they're about to check me, but the guy asked me for my cell phone. Can somebody explain this to me? Because why do you need my cell phone?
Grandma, what happened?
They took my food, opened my food and took some out, and that's not a good thing.
Ooh.
The people at the airport, the one that is handling the baggage people.
Which airport?
I don't know whether it's Atlanta or Connecticut.
They're going down today.
This is a PSA because I don't know what lie we've all been told, but you can bring food through TSA. Like, I just bought a salad through TSA and ate it and saved myself about $20. So, tell your friends.
So TSA is now using new facial recognition technology to verify passengers. This machine is called CAT, and I just went through security and I refused to get my picture taken. This verification system is now available in over 90 airports, and the idea behind it is to verify the identity of the passenger, authenticate their documents, and keep their image on file for at least 48 hours. When I declined to use the system, the officer asked me to provide a second form of ID, like my passport. I told you before that many TSA officers are now verifying immigration status. This new system is going to make it much easier for them to share this data with ICE. So be aware that this is coming to your airport, and if you're undocumented, it's going to get more difficult for you to travel if TSA will scan your photo. Share this info and follow me for daily updates.
You are another type of human if you can just go through airport security and not have a full panic attack. What do you mean? They're like, put things in the bag, everything in the bag, take out the charger, do a lithium battery, take off your shoe. It's so much. My heart's even racing just thinking about it. What do you mean? And then when they change the rules and then they're like, you don't need to take out your batteries. Don't take out your batteries. And I'm like, wait, we don't need to take out our batteries. She's like, didn't you hear me? I don't need to take out. Oh my gosh. This is too much. How do you guys do it? You just go to the airport like it's fine? That's the whole time before I go to the airport. I'm like, are they going to believe it's me? What if they say this isn't you, ma'am? What if they think I have a bomb? What if, I don't know. To me, the airport's like a prison. What do you mean? It's terrifying. You just keep screaming and then they're in line just screaming things at you. Over here, over like, so much.
You want to know something that's really humbling? TSA. Like, that whole process is just so undignifying and real humbling, because you will be out there with no shirt, no shoes, looking like you naked and afraid. Like, I really was just there shivering, like, I ain't got on no sweater, I'm cold, and it's 50 million people and we all looking at each other like, we ain't got no shoes on. But you know what I need? TSA preacher.
I just want to thank the TSA agent because I knew I was taking a risk when I put my extremely full Dove deodorant, aerosol deodorant into my carry-on tote. You had my back, girl. You saw it on the screen. You took it out. You looked at it. You looked at me. I looked at you. You put it back in my bag, girl. Thank you so much.
Okay, if you're wondering if you can get through security with no real ID and no passport, I just did. So today is June 9th, 2025, and I had to book an emergency flight out, and I did not have my real ID. I did not have my passport. I did have a temporary ID, but they did not even ask for it. So I flew out of Portland International, and I flew I flew out of Portland International, and then I came back from a little small airport in Kansas. And the first time, a couple days ago through Portland, they just said, do you have an ID? Do you have a passport? I said no. They let me through, no additional screening. This morning when I flew out of Kansas, and they just pulled me aside. Actually, they just had me take off my shoes, and they screened my shoes differently than anything else. No questions, no harassment, no problem. no additional time. So again, no real ID, no passport, and we were able to travel and make it home safe today.
Here's the new thing in travel news. TSA has just issued a new warning for airport travelers. So according to a Facebook post from TSA, travelers should avoid charging electronic devices via the USB ports that are now commonplace at airports around the country and the world because of the potential malware that ports may contain. According to TSA's advisory on Facebook, hackers can install malware on USB ports. The advisory goes on to state that when you're in an airport, do not plug your phone directly into a USB port. Bring your TSA-compatible power brick or battery packs and plug in from there. According to the Federal Communications Commission, juice jacking occurs when malware installed on USB ports exports your information directly to criminals while they're charging. The perpetrators can then use your information to access your online accounts or even sell your information to a high bidder. I had no idea this was a thing. I had never even considered not using those ports. Reports even by the New York Post earlier this year, an Argentinian flight attendant claimed that some thieves are now buying really cheap plane tickets just to access the secure areas of the airport so that they could roam the terminals, stealing from passengers and even duty-free shops without ever intending to board a flight. So just do what TSA mentioned. Don't plug your phone cord directly into the USB ports on any of the airports. This does not say what you should do or not do regarding the actual ports that are on an airline or on the actual airplane, but definitely not in the airports.
Not only am I an attorney, I also have played one on TV. Here with the latest consumer scam tips. The TSA has issued an official report about using charging stations and airport Wi-Fi. Here's what they said. And trust me, if the TSA has issued an official report, that means something bad has happened. That means the problem is widespread. So here's what they say. Use your own charging port. Try not to directly plug into some of those charging stations at the airport. They have been corrupted by bad actors and people are accessing and stealing your information. They also say if you're using the airport Wi-Fi, which is fine, but don't use it to transmit personal information, banking information, social security, credit card information, things along that line. And again, if the TSA has issued an official report, that means the thing is pretty widespread. It's pretty bad. So tell them you heard about it at Consumer Hero. Share the message with your friends and family.
Getting TSA pre-check is not worth it, and let me tell you why.
This is the line for TSA pre-check, wraps all the way around, goes all the way over the world. This is the line for regular old, nothing special, get in line. There's 5 people in line.
Versus at TSA pre-check, you're going to be waiting about 20 minutes. Here, I'm the 7th person in line. That one wraps all the way around.
Look at the line over there. It does wrap.
At this point now, I have 2 people ahead of me, and it's my husband and my mom. So the crazy thing is they do have more aisles for TSA pre-check, but I did even ask the guy, and he said so many people have TSA pre-check that the line ends up being 3 times or 4 times as long as the regular line. Not only that, because so many people have TSA pre-check, they have 4 lines available for them over here and only 1 for us, and ours was still shorter without TSA pre-check. There is the benefit that you don't have to take your shoes off or take electronics out of the bag, but because of the added wait time and the fact that almost everybody has TSA pre-check right now, you will be waiting at least 3 to 4 times longer if you have TSA pre-check versus if you don't have anything and just show up to the airport for your flight.
The city of Las Vegas is in a lot of trouble right now, and here's why. Las Vegas has gotten way too greedy and expensive, and the numbers are showing. In a late March report by Harry Reid International Airport here in Las Vegas, it states that the main hub that tourists travel through internationally has dropped a 19.6%. And domestic travel is also down another 6.9% in the same time span. And a total of 4 million passengers came through the city in February. That's a 7.5% decline since 2024. But it doesn't stop there. The Convention Authority reports that Las Vegas visitors are down 12% from where they were in 2024. Yeah, that's right. It sounds like Vegas's greed is finally catching up to them. Vegas has just become way too expensive for people to visit. It used to be a place that was super cheap. With all these extra resort fees, you gotta pay for parking. It's honestly just cheaper to travel to other places like Cancun. What are your guys' thoughts? Comment below.
Trump is tanking US tourism, absolutely tanking it. There was a report out at the end of February saying, and this was from Tourism Economics, saying that instead of growing by 8.8%, tourism in the US was projected to decline by 5.1%. But that was in February, right? So much has happened since in terms of stories of tourists being maltreated that really is going to change the dynamics. I'm sure of it. I've got some stories here that I've written down about one French scientist, 3 Germans, a Canadian and a Brit, that I just want to take you through so that you understand what is happening here, because these are stories that are now going wild through the Western press. Right? So first of all, the French scientist, this is probably the most recent story. He was denied entry to the US because he got there. They decided to search his phone and search his laptop. They found him having communicated sympathy with US scientists in terms of how Donald Trump has been treating the US science community, and decided that this was comparable to terrorism. And so he got turned around and sent back. Okay. And French government has been complaining about that. But he got off, luckily, to just be accused of terrorism and denied entry. Because let's now talk about the 3 Germans, all of whom have been detained by ICE. So firstly, there's Jessica, the tattoo artist, and that was a big story everywhere because she was kept for what? Over a month or something, including solitary detention. Absolutely moved from place to place. Her friends and family utterly terrified before she finally got released. For what? For taking some tattoo kit through border. She was treated like that. Then there's the next German, Lucas, a fiance of an American, and he was detained by ICE for 2 weeks. Then we have Fabian, the electrical engineer, a green card holder who was violently interrogated, stripped naked, pushed into a cold shower, and again, he was detained, I think, for a couple of weeks or something like that. Let's now move on to the Canadian. Her name is Jasmine. She actually wrote a piece in the British press describing her shocking treatment. She was held for 12 days. She didn't know why she was arrested. She was always told that they didn't know how long she was going to be kept. She was thrown in a cold cell with lots of other people, and they didn't have the lights on for 2 days. None of them knew what to do. It was a freezing room, and essentially she only got released when she got released. Imagine how terrifying that is. And then there's the story of the Brit. Her name was Rebecca. She had 3 weeks of horrendous treatment also, and she's now back home in Wales. But she said she was treated as if she were Hannibal Lecter. She was chained by the wrists, around the waist, and in the ankles. She couldn't walk without the help of an ICE officer. What the crap is this? Because it's been reported now that Germany is monitoring this situation very closely because of this incident with their 3 citizens. They want to see what it means for others. And of course, the French government has already responded about their scientist. And in fact, the French government are already saying, American scientists, we know what you're going through. You're welcome to come and work here. Okay? But think what this means, not just for American tourism, but American businesses, because much of the international travel is business meetings as well. Think about any American or global organization that would want to host an international meeting. You wouldn't host it in the States for fear of some of your visitors being abused on entry, not just turned back, abused on entry and accused of being terrorists and so forth. That is terrifying. And so that is going to tank not only the US tourism industry, but so many other industries that operate internationally and want to have international business traffic to do their business, to have visitors or to host events. It's going to blow it all. And a third of the inbound traffic to America is Western Europe. A third is Western Europe. Not all of Europe, just Western Europe. Eastern Europeans will be feeling the same, looking at this dynamic. And then what do you think Canadians are going to feel, and other Commonwealth countries? And all of these countries are predominantly white. So what do you think Middle Eastern potential tourists would think about going to the States at the moment, or those in Latin America, seeing how their Latino colleagues have also been treated by Donald Trump, let alone Africa or let alone Asia, right? So, but on top of this, if this is how Donald Trump treats his allies or ex-allies, he is also lining up another travel ban of 43 countries, which are those that are not America's, I will now say, ex-allies. So where's the tourism going to come from? Where's the business traffic going to come from? Trump is absolutely isolating America. Now, I wouldn't want to go to America at this stage. Absolutely not. I feel 10 times safer going to Ukraine, which is what I did last week, than going to America. I would not go there now for fear of my phone being searched. And it's questionable whether they can search your phone. Apparently, they can't demand your password, but they could absolutely abuse you if you didn't hand it over. But would I go to America with this phone here? Is this that I'm recording to you now, would that be considered anti-Trump propaganda and therefore terrorism, which would bang me up? Listen, I spent 2 years growing up in America. I went to school on those little yellow buses. Yes, I did. But I would not go there now. And there will be many, many people right around the world that will think similarly. So I have never seen a country fall so fast in terms of its support from the rest of the world, in terms of its attractiveness to talent and to business and to engagement with the rest of the world. Never seen it like this. America at the moment is in free fall. It is absolutely plummeting. And I feel deeply for all of those good Americans there that don't know what to do right now. But we'll get through this. We'll find a way, but there needs to be pressure on the inside as well as the rest of the world applying pressure from the outside. But you can kiss America's tourism industry goodbye, at least while Donald Trump is in power. But then a lot of habits are going to be wired deep by all of this.
The United States is seeing a huge dramatic drop in international visitors.
Because who the hell wants to go on holiday in Gilead? Who wants to go on holiday in Gilead, please? Because I don't. Red is not my color. It's not. Every other day there's a horror story about someone who has tried to travel to the USA. Every single day, stopped in the airport, can't get through, held up for hours, being questioned, having their phones looked through, having their emails looked through, having their social media looked through. Why would anybody want to pay for that? Especially when the whole world is there to travel to. The one silver lining in all of this for everybody else, not the USA, like you lot are cooked, but for the rest of the world, it means that this is going to open up tourism for so many other countries that other people would never really have considered going to. They're going to start going to them now. And I love that for the economies of other countries, because the USA, yeah, you lot are cooked.
It turns out foreign visitors are shunning the United States. We're seeing an increasing number of international travelers choose to go elsewhere. Fresh research from Oxford Economics estimates that the U.S. is going to see an $8.5 billion drop-off in spending from foreign visitors this year. And some estimates are even more staggering. You've got the World Travel and Tourism Organization estimating a $12.5 billion drop-off in spending this year. And we're already seeing it show up in the numbers. When you look at flight bookings to the United States between May and July, they're off more than 10%.
Here in New York, tourism is also being hit big time, once again driven by negative sentiment toward the USA.
In 2025, American tourism is no longer the safe bet it once was. According to the U.S. Travel Association's April snapshot, international visits have dropped significantly across key regions, including Western Europe. What's causing this? It's not one big moment. It's a combination of many. Let's talk about trust. Across Europe and Asia, travelers report rising concerns about U.S. immigration, long border waits, aggressive questioning, even racial profiling. National headlines are filled with stories of detentions and visa denials, even for professionals and students. These aren't rumors. They're real events, documented, shared, and amplified. In Germany, the government officially updated its travel guidance after several German citizens, including students, were detained at American airports. According to Reuters, the German Foreign Ministry stated that even a valid visa no longer guarantees entry into the U.S. In Japan, NHK, the national broadcaster, covered multiple incidents of engineers and tourists being held for hours by U.S. customs officers, fueling frustration among businesses and universities. And in Australia, SmartTraveller, the government's travel advisory service, issued multiple warnings about inconsistent airport security and increased scrutiny at U.S. borders.
Here in New York, tourism is also being hit big time, once again driven by negative sentiment toward the USA.
In 2025, American tourism is no longer the safe bet it once was. According to the U.S. Travel Association's April snapshot, international visits have dropped significantly across key regions, including Western Europe. What's causing this? It's not one big moment. It's a combination of many. Let's talk about trust. Across Europe and Asia, travelers report rising concerns about U.S. immigration, long border waits, aggressive questioning, even racial profiling. National headlines are filled with stories of detentions and visa denials, even for professionals and students. These aren't rumors. They're real events, documented, shared, and amplified. In Germany, the government officially updated its travel guidance after several German citizens, including students, were detained at American airports. According to Reuters, the German Foreign Ministry stated that even a valid visa no longer guarantees entry into the U.S. In Japan, NHK, the national broadcaster, covered multiple incidents of engineers and tourists being held for hours by U.S. customs officers, fueling frustration among businesses and universities. And in Australia, SmartTraveller, the government's travel advisory service, issued multiple warnings about inconsistent airport security and increased scrutiny at U.S. borders.
We've just left the Yosemite National Park area on our way to Lake Tahoe. Tahoe, is that the way you say it? Anyway, we stopped on the side of the road because I had to show you how beautiful this place is that we've just stopped in. I don't know the area, but there's a lake, there's a waterfall. It is stunning. I'm amazed by the scenery, honestly. I just can't get my head around how beautiful the US is. Like, everywhere you go on this road trip is out of this world. Let me show you what I'm seeing with my eyes right now. Okay, so the RV's parked here. Look at this lake. People canoeing, people swimming in it. It's just so stunning. Look at it. Just look, people fishing. Let me zoom in for you. Wow. I just can't. It's so beautiful here. Okay, so I've just had to cross the road quickly, but our RV is over here, and look at the scenery behind it. Look at this. Whoa, bikers!
I have never been so excited to return to a country that I visited before in my life. America, you truly have my heart. I cannot explain or express to people enough how amazing America is, in my opinion. I only spent almost 3 weeks there. It was eye-opening. Everybody was so friendly. The scenic views were like nothing I have ever seen in my life. Completely mind-blowing. The weather, how it was just changing from state to state so dramatically, just added character to the country. While we were walking down the road, people were always stopping us and having the most amazing conversations with us, and would always give us ideas for what they thought we should do. I love that. That doesn't happen in the UK. People are fucking grumpy in the UK. No offense, they are. Just get me back to America. I love the freedom. The sense of freedom over there is so amazing, so big. Everything's so spacious. See you soon, America.
You know, I probably should be like old enough to know this, but I still don't understand it. Now, I've been flying for a while now.
And I've came across some nice TSA, and I've came across some TSA that was just downright rude and nasty, and for no reason. Like, it's like you're trying to flex your authority or something like that. And you know, can't nobody really test you for real, because we could get arrested or banned from flying. So like, for you, it's like, which one is more important to you? But see me, you be rude and nasty to me, then I'm gonna be rude and nasty to you without saying anything from the whole time I'm in TSA. I just feel it's unnecessary for TSA to be so damn rude. Like, what is the purpose? What are y'all gonna get out of that? For real. Case in point. So I'm going through TSA, and everybody was nice so far. Okay. Then when it comes to the woman who gotta pat me down, she asked me, does it hurt to touch my stomach or my back? And I told her no. I didn't know why she asked me that at first, or if that's just some protocol they gotta do. But when she started feeling on my stomach, I didn't want to fight her. Okay? And so I was like, because at the airport in Vegas, they asked me, they said, did I have anything on my waist? And I was like, I had a fire or whatever. So she didn't ask me that. So she just went ahead and pat me or whatever. And I said, that's a faja. She was like, yeah. I was like, bitch. Like, what is your purpose? Like, you mad because I had a faja on? Mind you, not to body shame, but she was a very much larger lady than me. Are you mad? I'm confused. Like, what? Y'all, it don't take nothing for to be nice. You ain't gotta be nasty. Like, you dealing with people. I know you have to be, top flight security in the airport, but my whole thing is, you don't have to be nasty. You don't have to be nasty just because you have authority. I really don't like TSA sometimes. I really don't.
I don't know who needs to hear this, but yo, that whole airport shit where you can't fly without your real ID or passport, that shit cap. Word, like, you could dag it on the plane still. They just gonna do a background check. Obviously, you gotta have your license or your ID, but they still letting y'all on the plane, bro. Like, don't let nobody tell y'all that.
So my dumb ass didn't realize that by the time I'll be leaving Florida, that I was gonna need my real ID on my passport to fly. And I didn't come with that, so you're gonna see how it is to fly without it. So far, they just told me to wait at this podium to speak to somebody, but it's been about 10 minutes. Nobody came yet. They told me I just gotta wait. So another TSA agent had came up to me and told me that the other guy was wrong. He shouldn't have told me to wait by that podium, so he took me past the entire TSA line. They swabbed my hands, checked my ID, and let me through. I will honestly say the whole process took like 2 minutes. Faster than I've ever gotten through this airport before. But look, this is just how it is for now. I do recommend getting your passport or your real ID if you don't have one. I do have a passport, and I'm still gonna get my real ID because I don't know what they gonna plan on switching up out here. But I'm also at Orlando International Airport. I don't know how it is everywhere else, but I've seen a couple of videos of people in different airports, and they pretty much having the same exact experience. So if y'all don't got that real motherfucking ID, just don't bring your ass to the airport because y'all backing up the motherfucking line. Apparently, y'all know, like, since COVID started, we were supposed to have a real ID, which is the shit with the star in the corner, and they kept on postponing it. Yesterday was the day. And so I get to the airport, an hour, and I get to Hartsfield Jackson about an hour and a half before my flight because I'm a type B person, but I've never had a problem doing this. I might be running to my gate when it's all said and done, but baby, I like it like that so I can just get straight on the plane, don't gotta worry about shit else. I'm just hopping straight on the plane. Bitch, ain't wrong. First of all, I went into my secret portal, which I thought was a secret portal. It's not a secret portal no more. In the airport, you go down the stairs and it's like that other, like, checkpoint. Bitch, that shit was filled. They said that shit was only supposed to take 8 minutes, bitch. I was standing there for a fucking hour and missed my motherfucking flight, and they said it was all backed up because everybody don't got their real IDs. Then, bitch, I turned around and bought me another flight that was $300 for a one-way. I did it on Apple Pay. The shit didn't go through.
but it came out of my bank account. How about I have to turn back around and buy a second flight? So the first flight that I had was a one-way for $200, the second one was $300, and the third one was $300 at a whopping total of $800 for the day. I'm glad that I'm glad that I already made $100 today. Oh my God, this lady just, hold on.